360 Virtual Home Tours by Sam. Hi, I'm Sam Dorfman, and we're going to discuss passable classes of home tours. So I can think of basically three general classes. So here I have on this list live in-person tours. So there you have a standard guided home tour. Someone has found a property either by driving by the neighborhood or being on the internet, and generally they'd find it in Realtor.com or Zillow. There's dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of websites that have real estate listings, but the two I mentioned are the most common. So you find it, you contact an agent, and the agent makes an appointment for you, and you go through the house and decide whether you like it and want to make an offer, whether you wanted to add it to your like list for future situations. Although depending on the market, you might not want to dawdle too much. The next is open houses for buyers, and there the listing brokerage house schedules an open house through some time slot, and people come and go. The hosting agents introduce themselves, try to get some information about the people there, but they can't really spend the time going through the house because they have to be there at the front door to greet all the people coming in. And of course, the last one on that list is open houses for agents. And sometimes when you get a particular interesting property and you feel you want to publicize it to the agents in that general vicinity because you think it's a worthwhile property, and so you hold open house for agents. So that's the live ones. We're really interested in the virtual ones. So the first group of those is self-directed virtual tours. So when it's self-directed, we can either do photos, a slideshow of the home. We can do recorded movies of the home, or my favorite, and this what this website is about, and we can do 360 virtual home tour models, such as Matterport or Zillow 3D Home. And actually, I read somewhere that there's like 50 different types of models now, but the two that I've been concentrating on because of the popularity of Realtor.com and Zillow. Zillow's 3D Home is a possible model. So with those self-directed tours, and any of those, the viewer finds them and goes through them by themselves anytime, day or night, as long as they want. And the 360 models, if you've seen some of our other videos, are very, very detailed, and it's just like living in the house after you've been through it a while. So they're a very useful type thing. The only problem that I see with them is they can have some degree of complexity, so that people might have trouble going through them until they've experienced. And I'm sorry, there's another problem. Sometimes people are on the internet and they don't even notice that this particular home has a 360 model. So how do you find the 360 model for that home? I've mentioned in the video about Zillow, how the Zillow website can let you know about those existences of the models. And also on Realtor.com, on the first picture for a particular property, you'll see a little icon that says something like virtual tour or 3D tour. And when you click on that, you're going to get a model usually. So that's it for those. And now something completely new is the hosted virtual tours. And why have hosted virtual tours when you can do self-directed tours? And that is because a lot of people do not know much about the 360 tours. And with having someone actually Zoom hosting them, they get a better feeling. They lose the self-directed advantage of having their own special time. They've got to have an appointment time, but at the same time, they can get extra help. So we have hosted streaming movie of the house, and Facebook has that capability, YouTube has that capability, and Zoom has that capability, and I'm sure there's more. And basically, the person who's hosting it, either himself or with help, goes through the house live, so that he's in the house, but the people viewing what's going on are elsewhere. They're usually in their own homes and watching this. And again, it's a fixed time that that's taking place. But now again, one of my favorites is the Zoom hosting of any one of the self-directed virtual tours that we mentioned in this second set. We can, in effect, give a meeting or a webinar, whatever you want to call it at this situation, and walk people through the house using the model. So with photos of slideshows, you just go through the photo slideshow and talk about the house. With a recorded movie, you talk while the movie's playing. And again, my favorite, you actually open a 360 virtual home tour model. And instead of the viewer walking through the model, the host opens the model and walks through it, and the other people just watch, and it gives them a feel for how to do it themselves at a later date. And the only thing on that is how does the timing work? And if it's a Zoom hosting of a listing, Zoom hosting of a standard guided home tour, then the buyer or the buyer and the buyer's agent are your participants that you're hosting. And if it's an open house, then you might have a big group and you might have to mute them. And also you're going to try to go through the house in a reasonable pace of time, but you're going to do it to try to make it as clear as possible for them to understand exactly what you're doing. So that might take some special practice and skill to do that. Whereas the first case, where you're just doing a standard guided tour using the model, you can make a few mistakes. You can walk back and forth a bit. You can give a copy. In fact, in both cases, you can give a copy of the model so that they can do it themselves at another time. But this at least gives them a feel for it. So that's it. I hope that helps people understand, especially when we talk about virtual tours, how many different situations it could be. And that last one with Zoom hosting of a virtual home tour model, it's not too common, but it's one of the things that I will do for anyone who gives me a listing of their property. So come back more, subscribe, there'll be lots of stuff.